So right now we're just starting off with our first product that we call the Casita. It's basically a 360 square foot small house, kitchen, bathroom, bed, couch. And famously, we actually sold one of the first prototypes to Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Hey everyone, Steven with Tesla Owner Silicon Valley, and we are at a kind of a Disney World for me. We're here at the Boxabl headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we're welcomed by...
Hey guys, thank you for coming in to visit us. My name is Galiano, one of the founders of Boxabl. We're actually a factory here in Las Vegas where we are building houses in a factory. And the goal of the company is to mass produce housing on an assembly line, kind of the same way, Tesla builds cars. And, we think that's the way to achieve lower cost housing is through assembly line mass production to bring costs down. And really the name of the game is about scale. Most car factories put out one car per minute off the assembly line. The result is the lowest cost, lowest labor rates, bulk purchasing, and that's what we're trying to do with housing.
Right. So shifting the entire home industry to mimic the auto industry.
Exactly. And all the technology exists to do mass production in a factory. Right. If you ever look at a Tesla or a Ford factory, absolutely amazing, advanced automation, all that good stuff. And no one's really been able to apply it to housing because the building something that's so big in the factory and then shipping it to site is difficult and expensive. So our solution there was our houses actually fold up so they can ship as a legal load on the highway. And that way we can build in a really big centralized factory and ship it out to a big geographical area.
Incredible. Yeah. It's all about scale. And I think obviously that's the name of the game for what you have going on here. As far as units, what are we looking at that you have today?
So right now we're just starting off with our first product that we call the Casita. It's basically a 360 square foot small house, kitchen, bathroom, bed, couch. And famously, we actually sold one of the first prototypes to Elon Musk and SpaceX. And the idea there was to create the small unit that goes in the backyard of a main house and target that towards California, where there's a big demand for these backyard houses. And the rules there have kind of legalized people to do that. So it's 360 square feet, kitchen, bathroom, bed, couch, all finished in our factory, utilities, plumbing, windows, flooring, all that is done here. So then the install on site just happens in a few hours.
So at the end of the day, what is really needed to make it, instead of just a house now, into a home? What needs to do to take it to that level?
Yeah, you're going to get connected with one of our dealers. They're going to get permits for you. They're going to set up a foundation, bring in some utilities, and then our unit's going to get dropped off and installed in just like less than a day and get set up versus building the traditional way where you're starting with a bundle of lumber and nails and a hammer, and that takes months and months.
Right.
We take all that process out and it's replaced by a product that's already pre-built.
How long from the time the unit is dropped off to the time it is set up and then ready for actual dwelling purposes?
Pretty much less than a day.
Wow.
Yeah, so really quick. And that's the key because when you do that on site, it's very expensive, very slow. You have to use skilled trades. We're able to do it in our factory with this efficient assembly line. So our labor cost per house to build is much lower than a site labor cost, where you have a big percentage of the build is actually coming from labor.
So a question, if it's not too early in the game to ask, which would be, obviously we're here at the factory. Is there a plan to get more into an automation of the construction process?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're starting off just figuring out the basics. I think we get more efficiencies from assembly line versus automation, and we can be more flexible in changing things around to figure out the process. But right off the bat, we have a certain amount of automation coming from using things like CNCs. So instead of being out in the field and cutting a piece of wood with a handsaw, we're doing it on a CNC, which is a standard piece of equipment. So we do get a degree of automation right at the beginning here of the life of the company.
The name of the game that too would be just finding every way you can to make every part of the process as efficient as possible, similar to automobile.
Yep. And there's definitely a lot of different friction points that we can solve by doing it here in the factory. And I think that extends all the way into the regulatory arena, the way they're installed. And there's just a lot of efficiencies we can get across the board, especially once we're scaled up. And we are starting here kind of big in one way. This is a 400,000 foot manufacturing facility.
I did not realize it was this. We took a quick little loop around. I was beyond impressed how large
we could build quite a lot of houses here, but really that's still very small in the grand scheme of what mass production should be. Because a Tesla factory puts one car off the assembly line every minute or less. That is a huge degree of efficiency and reduction in labor costs. And that's what we think that we have to get to make factory building work. So really in this version of the factory, we're just kind of proving the concept that we can make it work and then going out to the market and asking for more resources to continue to scale.
So the end goal would be getting one casita unit per minute out of the factory.
That's when I look at modern factory mass production, that's what they're doing with cars. That's the best example of scaled production. So I think that should be possible to get there one day. And if we can get there, we're going to be able to bring the cost of these things down so low. Anyone who wants to build a residential structure says, this is the way to do it. This is going to be my cheapest, most efficient, fastest way of getting these houses done.
I know your time is a little limited. Is there anything you especially want to share while we have some time?
Yeah, so we're going to be announcing some new products soon. Right now, we just have the casita. So we have a bunch of exciting new stuff. We'll show you all of that today and then hopefully release it after we do the public announcement of that. And I think people are going to be really excited about these products. We basically have solved a bunch of problems with these new products that we've bumped into along with that.
Look forward to see it. So yeah, we have a factory tour ahead of us. We're going to check out the casita and we're going to be blown away by what we see. I'm definitely going to be blown away. Well, Gali, thank you so much.